Alrighty, so here we are playing some Surviving Mars. Now, there's something that I definitely wanted to check out in Surviving Mars. I started up like the beginning of a series, but I felt like the video was way too long and it sort of turned into more of a guide where I was just covering a lot of my ideas for how to set up an early colony, and I was doing all of this with India, and I ended up getting the achievement for the India sponsor, playing as India. Now, that one was kind of easy. You can sort of cheese it just by building a bunch of domes pretty quickly, and that's what we ended up doing. But today I wanted to start on something a bit more difficult. Let's click on new game here, and what I want to do is play as USA. And I kind of want to go through and do all of the different mission sponsors and get all of their different, what's it called? All of their different achievements. I think that'd be a pretty fun challenge. But let's start as USA. I'm thinking we also start as an ecologist. I cover this in the guide. You have access to the Hanging Gardens right away, which is pretty nice. Colony logo. I think it only makes sense to play as the American flag. For the mystery, I want to choose something that's different than anything that I've completed before, so let's go ahead and do the power of 3. Game rules, we'll just leave this as is, and then let's rename the colony to something. I think we can do something a bit silly and just do New York, and I think that's good. So let's go on to the next part. I talk about what's it called, how best to set up your initial rocket setup in the guide. So I'm gonna do something kind of similar to that. RC transport. We'll just go with 3 orbital probes, right? So if we have 1 square, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's do 4. And then we're gonna want machine parts. Let's grab just a bunch of these. We'll take this many. And then we'll take 1 thing of electronics. And then I guess just as many drones as we can afford to bring along. Pretty expensive rocket load, but we're going to have lots and lots of drones. Maybe we bring a bit less. Let's do 10. Let's do another machine part, another electronics. And I guess we can just bring some more orbital probes. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think this is good. Delta 1 rocket. Let's launch it. And in terms of the colony site, I don't really care where it is, as long as we have maxed out water and metals. So, oh, look at that. Cool. So lots of meteors, but I think this is going to be well worth it. The concrete, I don't really care too much about it, but let's get this started.
Welcome to Mars.
Cool. First things first, pause the game, and I've been wanting to sort of start up this series for a while. I just haven't really got around to it, but what's it called? I noticed that a lot of people were showing interest in the video I made on Mumbai, and so I was like, oh, alright, you know what? We might as well do what I've been wanting to do and actually set this up. We're gonna want water and metal. That's like the most important of things. Water and metal. So let's go and look around, try and find water and metal. There's like literally no water around here. Okay, so here's potentially water. We found water. Now let's try and find metal nearby and concrete. Okay, so we found everything we need right here. So we might as well spend the rest of our orbital probes really just on whatever's nearby. Cool. So this is a pretty good area to start in. We have access to... I'm going to turn the music down just a bit. Cool. We have access to water, which is really nice. We also have access to some concrete, which is really nice. And we have metal deposits around. There's a high grade, here's another high grade. This one's got a bit more, so we'll probably start there. And then we also have this one. What are you? Low grade, that's kind of whatever. So this is definitely going to be where we're going to try and build up our initial set of domes and whatnot. We also have some anomalies around, that's all good. And I think we're ready to drop our rocket off, honestly. I kind of want it to be... Wait, can we do this? I think we can go into the build menu and do all of our planning before we ever even drop our rocket off. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fit the domes. Let's start with production, and let's look at a metal extractor. There's a little platform, as you can see on the bottom right side of the building, and that's where the population's actually going to enter, from right here. So we want it to sort of aim down this way. And we're also going to want to build our first dome within... We want the blue circle to be able to like surround this extractor, of course, because if it's too far away, then the population won't be able to make their way over and work in that building. So what I'm kind of thinking is, how are we going to want this? Before we set this up too much, we do want to figure out what this anomaly is, because you never really know exactly what's going to happen. And we're also going to want to level literally like all of these cracks out and whatnot. So we'll probably end up flattening all of this like hillside here, and use all of the rocks and whatnot to fill in these humongous craters and whatnot. Maybe even carve into the mountain a ways. So another thing, let's go ahead and set up this. So I'm thinking right there ought to be perfect. And then we're going to want to do our microdome somewhere around here. Now we could try and surround this first microdome with 6 of the triangle domes, but that's not really going to work, because if we place this down and then zoom in, any connection that we do to one of the triangle domes is going to kind of make the inside triangle in here way smaller. And so we're not going to want to do that, because we can fit a lot of housing. We can fit up to 3 things of housing inside of one of these domes here. I forget what you call these. A basic dome. A basic dome can fit 1, 2, 3, and then the other slots here, the other 3 triangles, we're going to have our passages, right? So a passage is going to sort of take up a corner, and then you can see that this triangle isn't full anymore because we're going to have 1 passage here. Likewise, it's going to kind of mess with 1 triangle inside the microdome, or inside the triangle dome. So that leaves 2 whole big triangles for setting up like factories and schools and casinos and gyms and other stuff like that. So we're going to have 3 living spaces, and then the rest of the little triangles are for anything else, probably mainly for nurseries, just so that, you know, children can live in the dome and whatnot. So let's go ahead and demolish you. We are going to want this one in this spot, I would say. And yeah, so before we get too far into planning, let's go ahead and set down our rocket. I'm thinking here, does this give us access to everything that we want? I think it does. Just about, yeah, this should be fine here. Yes. And then let's go ahead and go into production. And I believe I can't remember exactly how it's like. Let's go into a basic dome. Oh no, we unpaused the game. Let's look at this with a triangle dome here, and then one way over here, right? I think that's how we want it. No, you're off center, demolish, microdome to there. That is how we want it. And then of course another microdome way on over here, but there is this anomaly in the way. But as you can imagine, just one more triangle dome and we'll have this nice setup. And so what I'm wondering is, what is the space between these two? Let's look at something like a passage. So counting the gap, like starting on like the space 1 over from the actual building, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a 7 space gap. And then there we go. So thinking about that, let's find a 7 space gap, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 space gap. That'll leave enough room for the rest of our domes going on over this way. So now we want to, with some basic planning done, we want to make sure that we're not encroaching upon these buildings with like our concrete extractors and whatnot, right? So let's do this one this way, I would say. Curious. Now we can do a water extractor. I believe that one is life support. Can do this one this way, I think. That should be fine. This is looking like a pretty good setup, not gonna lie. As long as this anomaly isn't something too bad. I think this is only, yeah, this only reveals breakthrough technologies, so we shouldn't have to worry about that one. And yeah, I think this is all looking pretty good. So, starting with our first bit of power and whatnot, what should you go for first? I always opt for... Whoa, what is that? Well, you can hold control to see the limits of things. That's really convenient. We want to build our first bit of electronics and whatnot. Sort of like this. Let's do a power cable like that, I believe. That should reach just to the edge there. And then we can set up our first solar panel there. And we'll go ahead and put you on high priority. Let's do the cable on high priority. It already is. Then let's do the concrete extractor on high priority. Now with these 3 on high priority, this will all get finished. So that's good. And then hopefully we get the solar panel done by the end of the first day. And with that, we should be able to set up a wind turbine with the amount of concrete that we'll produce on the first day, right? Oh no. Okay, change of plans slightly. Let's do this wind turbine facing this direction. And I'm going to want to go with, I believe, 3. And that should be good. And then we'll turn 1, the first one connecting up to a high priority, and then this one on low priority. So they sort of go through a priority chain that's convenient. Everything is outside of ranges that are going to ruin stuff. Metal extractor, can we pause this is the question. Yeah, we can turn this off. Let's turn you off. Let's turn you off. This is all just for planning. So that's all good. I think we're just about ready to land. You always want to go into your research and see already I messed up by not choosing which research like first. I mean, biotech is pretty good. This low G fungi. It is pretty good. So let's go ahead and just finish it off. And then I think, what is this? We could do engineering, but maybe this will be better. Ooh, RC Explorer. Yeah, this is actually going to be huge here. Like, we should have done this one first. And I think we're actually going to move it up. Yeah, so you can imagine if these, the free, what is this, like 300 or 250 points, research points, if this would have been put into Explorer AI, we would have been just that much closer to having it done. Yeah, see, just by finding the water, it gave us free 250 research points, and it got shoved into something random. And if I would have had this queued up, then it would have put it specifically into that. But that's fine. Sensor towers, autonomous sensors are really good, so let's do that second. More applicants start to appear on Earth, that'll be good before we launch our first rocket full of colonists, and then we can do the engineering last. And then let's outsource for 1,000 research points per day. That's pretty good. And so we're down to 3.9 billion, but we should be fine. So this is all good. Cool. Let's go ahead and do the sector scanning. Might as well. And honestly, I'm just kind of content just scanning like anywhere around, honestly. Like we don't need we found everything that we're really looking for. However, I do think I want to, let's not go that way as much. Let's actually get rid of all this. Let's do like stuff that's close, I guess, first. Okay, that seems a bit better. We can also go through and just demolish these. That was just for showcasing. And yes, I believe this is all good. Let's go ahead and do a bit of terraforming. And I do want to do something like that. Then let's go ahead and do another flatten. We can start here, go like in this direction, that direction. I'm not sure if it's where like our planning starts or where it ends, but yeah, I think it's where it starts. As you can see, the rocket should be able to access both of these points, even though there's like a bunch of stuff that's outside of the range. The drones will like go over to the edge, and we should be fine with that. So then let's go ahead and do a bit more flattening and whatnot. We can do probably something like this, just to gather up more rocks for more flattening and planning. Something like that. And that should be enough planning for our first soul. Let's go ahead and set up our first, what's it called? Bit of, we'll unlock Fungal Farm, which is really nice. Because fungal farms you can build outside the dome, and they produce a lot of food. They do take a lot of water though, so we'll have to set that up pretty quickly. And yeah, we have a lot of drones, so a lot of stuff should fly up pretty quickly. Let's also go through, set up our first bit of... where's storage at? Storages. Just do a universal depot for now, that's probably okay. Let's do 2 of them. Let's turn off the metals and concrete, I would say, for now. Just so we can build actual depots for that. Let's do a metal depot there. Let's have you start collecting this metal now. What you can do is do a transport route, and we could do something like here, have him pick up metals and then bring it here. So now he'll gather like these 3 nodes, and that should be good. Cool. And then I wanted to do concrete depot. Let's actually have this one maybe like right around here for now. And then we can do a large dumping site just somewhere sort of out of the way. Over here seems fine. So this is all looking pretty good. And we can probably get away with going into the fastest speed for a little bit. RC Commander is fine to just leave here. What I also kind of want to do is let's do another rocket maybe. I think we can give it a bit of time. So this building isn't working, of course, because we need to set up the large solar panel. It's about to be online. And then we should have the machine parts and then soon the concrete for that. So that's good. Cool. Then let's go ahead and be a bit proactive. And let's set up a power switch here. Cool. Just so that we can shut the power off going to this. If there's like a leak in the line or something obnoxious, you never really know exactly what's going to happen on Mars. Sometimes things can get pretty hectic pretty quickly. And what we're hoping for is that we get enough concrete for this first wind turbine before the end of the first sol. That way, what is the grade on this? Average, that's good enough. because that means that the wind turbine will run through the night and we won't just be sitting here idle doing nothing for our first night. Let's go to lowest priority for these two. Actually, they're paused. I didn't need to do that. Cool, cool, cool. And already they're doing their first bit of flattening of the terrain, which is really nice. These rocks out here. No. And this guy's out here collecting some metal for us. That's good. They're bringing goods on and off the ship. That's nice. Let's do, I think it's infrastructure, a sensor tower. Let's zoom all the way out. And let's do it here. All the way over here in this corner. Our first sensor tower. And with that, what we can do is, how many drones can this carry? It can carry kind of a lot. Let's find some of his drones and assign them to this. He only needs one drone, honestly. So let's pack all of his drones in. Actually, let's go like this. And then what we can do is have you just come drop off your metal for now. So the transport, I'm going to have it drop off its metal that it's already collected, pick up the electronics, and then bring one over here to set this up. And once we have autonomous sensors, then we'll never really have to worry about those really, which would be really nice. They'll just be able to run, all of our sensor towers will be able to run forever. And they won't require, I think the upkeep is electronics, right? Oh no, the upkeep is only metal, but it costs electricity, so having them set up soon will be nice because, you know, we'll be able to map out the surroundings just a bit quicker, potentially finding new anomalies and things like that. And look at that, we have the first wind turbine coming up, and it's almost nighttime, so even though the large solar panel is going down, throughout the night we'll be able to continue collecting concrete, which is really, really nice. Power production 5 and 5.7, that's good. Cool, so now he's here, and what we need to do is for this guy to pick up literally one electronics. Actually, you know what, he might as well grab literally all of them. Recommending us to build a drone hub, but we don't really need to worry about that. So with this collected, let's go here, and we can do unload resources. I believe that's how you do that. Terraforming's hopefully coming along well. Did we finish one of the spots? Yeah, we did. We completely flattened all of this out here, so we can do the rest of our planning for our domes, which is really nice. Then we want to right click this guy away as soon as he's done, so he only drops off one electronic. Oh, didn't quite do it. One electronic. Cool. So now this guy should come over here, pick up the electronic, and then build the sensor tower, which only requires an electronic and a metal, so that's all good. And with this area flattened, let's go ahead and set up the rest of our dome planning. Go ahead and turn you off, and then we can do another microdome here. Yeah, look at that. So this is going to be the first little village, the first town that we're going to build. And then with time, what I want to do is actually have it so that it's like this. This metal node's in the way. But there you can see that, and then we'll build, I think, another microdome around here, another microdome here, and then we'll build another circle dome here, and then more microdomes like that. Or the, at least microdomes, yeah, these are microdomes, okay. So there'll be one microdome in the center that's like just nothing but passages, and then 3 of the basic domes surrounding it that's going to have like everyone living in it, and then a bunch of microdomes sort of around on the edge that are going to be just used for various things. So the thing about playing as USA is you need to research all of the technologies within engineering, right? And so my plan is to set up a bunch of scientists all over our entire thing. That's like going to be sort of my entire plan for this. It's nothing but scientists, and I think that'll be really cool. So cool. So this isn't running, but it will be running after a little bit. So let's go ahead and do RC transport. Let's have you pick up this. And then for now, let's go ahead and set up where we want the next sensor tower to go. We can do it right here. So let's go ahead and do infrastructure sensor tower. We can just do one here. That should be fine. Just want this metal deposit out of the way so I can do even more planning. And you know what? We're probably going to have to move this sensor tower. That's a huge oof. I mean, eventually. We can do it way later down the road. And maybe it's not like the most important thing right now. Yes, yes, yes. Let's check out research. How's that going along? Explore AI is almost done. We don't even have a what's it called here though. So maybe that was kind of dumb of me to focus that first, but I mean, whatever. It would have been probably smarter to get the sensor tower done first. And just like that, we survived one soul. Which wasn't very difficult, but we did it. Let's go into ×3 speed here for now.
Research complete.
Cool. So this guy's done with that. Let's have him gather up those, and with that we can do a dome around here. Go ahead and turn you off. And yeah, I believe that is how we wanted it to look, right? Nothing's too close. I think this one might be too close. Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but this one's way too close. There we go. So that's how we want that to look. Safekeeping. The message screen is dark and only a vague silhouette of a bald man can be seen. The man speaks with a modulated voice. Commander, we have an offer for you. Recently, our organization has run into severe problems with one of our more delicate projects. We want you to take care of it. All in all, the mysterious man wants you to shelter a number of clone applicants in your project. No questions asked, no answers given. You know, I think we're going to accept it. That's $1 billion and we get 10 officer clones. That's kind of spooky, but I mean, we'll accept it. And they're only applicants, which means that we don't really need to 100% like take them. Like they're just applicants, right? Let's do a bit more planning out this direction. Ooh, look at that. There we go. That's what our entire city is going to start looking like once we get everything fully finished. We'll need to come over here and flatten this area out a bit more. And then on top of that, as you can see, this is where the last dome's going to be. And that's why the sensor tower being here is in the wrong spot, but it should be all right. And yeah, I really like the way that's all looking, but we are going to need quite a bit of stuff. First off, a lot of electricity for all of these. And lots of concrete, lots of metal. The bigger ones are going to take 10 polymer apiece. And of course, we're not going to set up polymer for quite some time. But at the very least, we can set up a bit of metal extraction pretty quickly. Cool, I'm really quite happy with the way this is all looking. Let's have you actually... You know what, screw it. Let's get all of the, what's it called, sensor towers down. So we have one here, right? We have one here. Let's do one Can't really do one here because there's no ground, but we can do one right around here. So let's go ahead and set up a sensor tower there. Cool. Then let's see where else we're gonna want one. We have one here, here, here. I mean, we could set one up around here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Sensor tower there. Then let's do one here, I suppose. Maybe not. Let's do one here. Sensor tower there. One right around there. And then one way up there. That should be like all of our beginner materials. So let's go ahead and send you over here. Go ahead and send you over here. So that's what we'll focus on for just a little bit. It's going around and collecting that all on up. Let's go ahead and actually throw down our moisture vaporator. Should have done this a long time ago, honestly, but it's okay. Can rotate this to be like that. And then production fuel refinery. I don't really want them. Let's actually scrap this. In terms of where we want this to be set up. Like right here would be ideal, I think. Can move it back just like a tiny bit. Try and find like okay, I'm content with that. And then we need the moisture vaporator, of course. Which I want to set this up is not straight connected to it, which is something that I would usually do. But I think what I want to do this time is actually have it a ways back like this. And straight connected to the dome is really nice because, you know, we don't need to build cables for it and stuff. Just trying to do a bit of planning here. Yeah, this is fine. And then wind turbines, we can set up our first bit of wind turbines, maybe like 2 like this. And sometimes I get a bit obsessive about how I want these to look. I think that's fine. Of course, this is going to be the first like microdome we set up, and then the basic dome. So these 2 domes right here are going to be the first ones. Reason being is that this dome has access to the metal extractor, which is going to be very important. So there's all of that. Moisture vaporator, and that's going to require some pipes going from here to there. Let's actually do it on the other side. So demolish. Let's go here to there, and then we want here to there. Yes. And then we want a cable going from here to there, and then we'll put a power switch right here. So this is pretty good. The reason I want it set up like this is that we can cut off the water supply to the fuel refinery if we need to by putting a valve here, and then the moisture vaporator will have direct access to our microdome, just in case we want to use all of the water solely for our population, right? We can also cut off the power going this way. These 3 wind turbines are directly connected to a dome. They're also directly connected to this moisture vaporator, which is nice because we're never going to really want to turn off the power supply to a moisture vaporator, right? If anything, we can just directly shut it down. Machine parts are looking good. Everything else is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and turn one of these on. Let's turn these 2 on. And that should be alright. Did you guys finish this up? No. So we're going to have you drop off a metal, just one singular metal, and then drop off one singular electronic. And then this should be able to focus on that. What are you doing? He's trying to build this, so let's go ahead and pause you, make sure that they're all paused. Except for that one, and then let's pause that one on up. Cool. So things are looking up. Quite good. The rocket's not going to destroy anything when it takes off. Ideal. They're still out here trying to level that. But that's like the leveling usually is, I like to have it like on the lowest priority, so they focus on everything else, and then in the background you can just sort of flatten everything else out. Now, I have an idea. Let's look at, oh, we can't even like look at a drone hub, because I'm curious as to where I should put it exactly so that it reaches as much as possible. We might end up having to build multiple drone hubs, potentially up to like 3, but it would be pretty cool if we could do it with just one. But I think it's gonna have to be like, maybe we can get away with one like right in the middle. That would be pretty cool. Either way, things are looking up. I should have had them focus this one first. They're doing some random one which isn't connected to the moisture vaporator. Let's do lowest priority. Maybe we can coerce them into doing something else. And then also we can directly connect this, put a power switch so that the metal extractor is up and running, ready to go. What's really nice is that once we set up passages between domes, they count as not only power but also all the life supports as well. So now we have autonomous sensors, so all of our sensors are up and running and we don't need to ever really do anything about them. So now let's have you go over here and you go over here as well. Cool. Yeah, this is a pretty ideal start, not gonna lie. Like, there's lots of stuff that's very close by that we can focus on. Concrete steadily being extracted, water's ready for extraction, so we want the entire population to survive off moisture vaporators. And then we're just going to turn off our water extractor once it's up and running, because this is 11,000 units of water. And what we're going to want to do is, like, if there's ever an emergency where things going completely sideways, everything's like potentially wrong, we can, like, let's say that the moisture vaporators are all down for some reason. We'll have a direct tap straight into a water supply right here. And the longer we make it last, the better that'll be in the end, right? We don't want to use this for like industry and then it run out and then, you know, like this is a lifeline, or actual like direct lifeline. So pretty important. Pretty cool. It reminds me of Frostpunk for some reason. I think I talk about it in the video on New Mumbai that I did, but something about this just reminds me of Frostpunk. Like, tapping directly into the ground. Like, I haven't even played Frostpunk. I think Frostpunk 2 is out now, but I think they're like tapping into the ground for like oil or something, or heat, I think. Autonomous sensors is done. 2 buildings aren't working because they're not focusing the right stuff. Come on, guys. This is our only concrete besides this one way over here, which isn't great, but it's fine. So what we can do is, oh, you know what? I think this little dude's gonna pick up the electronics and stuff straight from our transport. That's kind of nice. So I don't need to like drop off goods. He'll just go about doing it himself. I probably should have sent another rocket across by now, but maybe not the end of the world. Maybe what we can do is just get an idea of what our next cargo rocket would even have, honestly. I'm thinking 1 drone hub, because we were playing as America. We're pretty rich. Moisture vaporators, because fungal farms are going to require a lot of water and like oxygen. I think we're going to want to figure out an area for our moxies. There's like a lot of stuff that we're going to want to start really planning on. Concrete, metals for a microdome. How many metals do we have? They should... Yeah, like all the metals scattered around, they should go and pick them up there by themselves. We shouldn't have to rely solely on... What's it called? The RC transport. But eventually we are going to definitely send these around. Air production, that's fine. We'll worry about that in just a little bit. What is pretty nice is that we are setting up lots of sensor towers, so it should speed up. Yeah, sensor tower boost 250%. Kind of a lot. 300%. Crazy. Pretty cool. Then we come down here, do this one. And I want to spend pretty much all of our initial, I think we started with like 10 electronics. We might as well spend all of them on the sensor towers. And then we're going to need electronics to keep a machine parts factory running, as well as our first drone hub. So those are pretty important buildings, as one might imagine, but we'll definitely give that a bit of time. Maybe bring over like 20 electronics, that'll probably be more than enough for a while. And then I also want to sort of plan out where a landing pad's probably gonna go. Maybe like around here. Not a bad idea, I don't think. No, we could set this up now. 10 concrete. Let's wait until the microdome's set up, as well as our basic dome. We're gonna need polymer. So you know what? Let's go ahead and figure out what else we're gonna need. I want to know how many moisture vaporators we're gonna need before we do all of this. So let's look at research. Are we doing... Let's do this. Just so I can know. And then decommission protocol. And we'll just start going down the engineering line. Doing as much as we can there. Still no power. How are you not getting enough power? Is it not enough, or... Let's ramp that up. So moisture vaporator only requires metal to upkeep it. Fuel refinery requires machine parts. So fairly soon we're gonna need the machine parts factories up and running. We do have enough machine parts to keep us going for a while, but just having them up and running is gonna be nice. Can we select both of these guys? No. The more sensor towers we have, the more we'll be able to, what's it called? Like the more in advance we'll know when a major, like a dust storm or meteor shower or something like that, the sooner we'll be able to tell that it's going to strike, which would be cool. Decommission protocol is also nice because we can get rid of the sensor tower. Build up another one. Things are looking pretty good here. What is going on with you? Let's get this wind turbine done now, guys. Oh, I put it on low priority, that's why. Let's get all 3 of these done. Actually, I guess the 3rd one can wait. So I should focus on this wind turbine first, then continue work with the domes, and then do this wind turbine. Let's put you on the lowest priority and turn you on. So cool, now we have like a priority chain. So even if I don't really like fully focus on it, they'll still get everything done in a good order. Biotech, yeah, low G fungi. I just need to know how much water it's going to consume. So let's go into ×3 speed. Now we're producing fuel. That took way too long to have finished. I should have gotten these 2 wind turbines done sooner. Ooh, 21,000 units of water. Where was that one at? Here. That's good. So 2 low grades. I believe that means they're going to produce like 3 water per like hour or whatever it is. Maybe soul. And so that's fine. Cool. New anomalies, transport. We just need this research done. That's like mission critical knowledge. I'm thinking we do a fungal farm here and then maybe one here. Yeah, I think that's going to be the move.
Research complete.
Nice, okay. So now, how much of everything are we using is the question. So yeah, it requires a lot of oxygen. That's what it is. It only requires half a unit of water, but a lot of oxygen. And then what we can do is something like this, I think. There, and then literally it's just one pipe. And then let's set up a second one over here. How did I do that one? We can then turn this one off for now. Turn you off for now. Just getting the planning done means that, like, you know, oh, look at this. There's planning. This fungal farm can actually go here because then the water extractor, once it's up and running, would have been contaminating it with dust. So, planning. Maybe we... I definitely want it to be around here somewhere, but I don't want it to be like, I don't know, looking kind of funky. How much electricity for all this now? So 10 for the fungal farm, which means we need 2 wind turbines for that. How much for a microdome?
Sector scanned.
1, and then 3 for this. So we need 2, 1, and 3, which equals 6. And we have 1 on the way. So we're going to need 6 in total. 6 more. So let's get that planning all done real quick. So we have 1. Let's think, how is this one? I don't really like the idea of cutting off, like right here, at the bottom of this little area, there's like pipe outlets, and I don't like the idea of cutting these off, but I guess we do have this spot here, so we'll go ahead and do it. No. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna need a couple more. We'll give it a bit of time. Let's actually turn this up, and then let's turn... Yeah, no, that should be fine there. Let's turn these down as well. The longer we can go without actually getting these wind turbines up, the better, because they're going to consume some of our machine parts, so that's fine. And then we have access to the hanging gardens. We're also going to want this. That consumes 2 water. So now we needed 6 wind turbines. Here's 4. And I want them to get this area flattened so that I can put more here. 3 more. So I know 3 is going to go there. Let's do the water planning next. In terms of domes, a basic dome requires 1 water. So we need 1.5. And then this is going to require half. So we need 2 in total. 2 water in total. And that will get us this basic dome, the microdome, and then the fungal farm. Are any of the buildings inside going to require water? I don't think so. No. So we need 2 in total, right? Yeah, 2 in total. And how much does a moisture vaporator produce? Produces 1. Okay. So we only need 2 moisture vaporators, but it's probably a good idea to get like a 3rd. And then it'd also be a really good idea to actually set up this water extractor, because that will be able to supply these 3 domes and the fungal farm all by itself. So just in case, like, you know, a meteor destroys all 3 of our moisture vaporators, this water extractor should be able to keep everything running. And then it'll probably be a good idea to set up more
Research complete.
water extractors over here. Life from Mars. That's cool. More applicants, always a good deal. So, now I know for a fact, does it keep like my planning for these? Let's do a drone hub, 2 moisture vaporators. Does it keep my planning for those? No? Ah, that's okay though. Electronics, we're gonna want like 20 of those. Just keep everything running for a bit. Drone hub, 2 moisture vaporators. Let's get the machine parts factory as well. And then we're also gonna want the RC Explorer, of course. We're not gonna bring any food. Don't really need it. And then we need to like, I think, was it 20 polymer for the... Hanging gardens? No, 10. But there's like certain buildings inside that require polymer. A playground, for example. Oh yeah, so a research lab needs electronics for maintenance. So we are going to need to find, what's it called? A rare metal deposit would be really important. Ooh, there's a vista here. Too bad we built way over here. Like, literally, if I would have known about this, then I would have replanned the entire dome setup to be, like, right around here. But that's fine. There's this one way over here, but it's, like, too far away. I guess we just gotta sort of hope that we have one sort of close. A rare metal deposit, that is. Because rare metals is going to allow us to set up an electronics factory, which will be really important. Maybe we can just import the rare metals, although it's probably going to be pretty expensive, but I mean, maybe super necessary. Another huge mistake is I built these wind turbines over here and we don't really need them, so we'll probably end up just connecting them to something and then sort of forgetting about that. That's a huge oof. You know what? That's actually everything that we're gonna need. Yes. For that initial, like, 6. Okay, so what about you? So the 2 moisture vaporators are gonna require 2 more wind turbines. I hope my planning isn't confusing here. Fungal farm requires 2 more, so 2 moisture vaporators, and the fungal farm drags us out to... Wait, I think I already planned for the fungal farm. Oh, the basic dome requires 10 polymer as well. So 10 there, and then 10 for the spire. So I'll probably end up bringing 30 polymers, okay. And I didn't save any of it. That's fine. Prefab building drone. 2 moisture vaporators. Machine parts factory. RC Explorer. 30 polymers. 20 electronics. I think that's it. I think that's literally it. Don't think that there's literally anything else that I want to bring along. Machine parts factory to keep everything running. Everything runs off metals and machine parts, so that's pretty good. Moisture vaporators, of course we need this to supply our population with water. Drone hub, of course, keeps everything running without rockets needing to be around. RC Explorer, which we can finally start researching all the anomalies and whatnot. Drone, just because we can toss one on. The polymers, this is going to be to set up our domes and potentially anything else that we run into. Machine parts, just to keep everything running until we get the machine parts factory fully functional. Electronics, just to keep everything else running, including the drone hub and the machine parts factory. Let's launch it, I guess. Cool. There we go.
Sector scanned.
I don't think that there's really any more planning. We just need to get all of, like, we just need everything to be functional, and then we can really get things going. It's gonna take kind of a lot of concrete, though. That's, like, the only downside. Ooh, nice. We're getting this completely flattened out, so I can start planning in more... What's it called? Wind turbines out here. Sometimes I just struggle to find the words. Fungal farm... Oh, this needs 3 electronics as well, so good thing we're bringing some now. These guys finished that on up. And I think we're gonna land this rocket, like, just way out of the way. Nice. Everything's looking really flattened. Let's go ahead and pause it on up, and then let's do, I'm thinking, some flattening. Hopefully we have the waste rock for all of this. And we'll just put this on the lowest one.
Complete.
Lowest priority. Ooh, low-G high-rise. You know what? Let's get that done. That's actually tremendous. And it's in the engineering slot there. And then it'll probably be a good idea to get this subsurface heating set up next. Scientist and botanist. This will be really good, actually. The botanist, of course, a 10-point bonus to their performance whenever they're making food for everyone. And then, of course, I want to get as many scientists on board, so having every scientist with a plus 10-point performance bonus is going to be huge as well. We'll just be flying through research, hopefully. Drones and rovers move 20% faster is kind of good, but I don't think it'll be super necessary. Cool. So things are looking really good. Let's queue up. Honestly, let's do you, then you. And then we'll leave everything else for now. Cool, I can't believe that. That's actually tremendous. Still have $2 whole billion to sort of mess around with. You know what? What if we demolish this? Do another fungal farm here. A single water pipe there. And then we just set up like a wind turbine, like wind farm all by itself out here. How is this not working? What am I doing? I'm like hurting myself due to confusion here. How did I... What? Oh, I get it. I'm just dumb is all. I think. That was painful. Anyways, okay, so I think that's pretty good. And that should be enough electricity for us to really be fine for a while unless a meteor strikes right in the center. It should be good. Hopefully we won't require too much more than this. A bit of planning could go a long ways for that though. But on top of that, let's also figure out where we want our water to be. Maybe we can set these up out here. The rocket's on its way, so that's good. Let's press play now. And then all of this, let's just turn it all off until we're certain this is how we want it to be. So all of them, 5 and then 5. So we have 10 here. And that's a nice little wind turbine system all by itself. And we don't want to build too many too close. Like, I think this is sort of like the limit. And then we'll sort of spread some wind turbine farms like this around so that, you know, they're not all compromised if something terrible happens in this area. Cool, so we have food. We should set up a Moxie system, and then it's probably going to be a good idea to set up some water towers and oxygen tanks as well, of course. So let's look at where is these. Where is these? That's great English by me. Do this, I think. And then that. Cool. So that seems fine. Now let's do the exact same thing on each side. Cool. So now we have a bunch of water and oxygen storage for everything. Let's go ahead and set up some Moxies then as well. Maybe we use this little area out here for... You know, we could set them up like right here in the center. I don't hate that. I would like something kind of symmetrical. What I kind of want to do is something like this. This is what I'm thinking. I want to do Moxies like this. And then from like a central pipe, I want to branch off like that. To each of them, but to do so would require a one space gap, I think, between each of them. Just so that we have like absolute total control over, what's it called, any potential disasters, right? Like what if a specific Moxie is just like destroyed or something crazy, you know? So that's absolute total control. We can pipe switch or pipe valve each of these and we just have absolute control over this. So then I think we can even get rid of you. No, we couldn't have done that. That was dumb. All the way to here. And then you to there. Cool. So total control is what we want to see. That's 3 Moxies, which should be enough oxygen. Let's check Moxie production here. They produce 3, so that's 9 in total. And then this is going to require 2, and then how much for each dome? 1, 2, 3. So really we only need, what is that? 3, 4, 5. If we set up, so we can just pause one of these. If we set up this dome, this dome, this dome, then 2 Moxies will be able to supply all of this with oxygen, as well as 1 fungal farm. And then I think the 3rd Moxie will allow us to set up the 2nd fungal farm, and we can set up this microdome over here. But we don't really need to worry about that too much right now. Let's actually bump this up and get that done now, because I would like to land the rocket here. So see about getting that done. We should probably also set up a power switch. We can go literally straight down to there. That's perfect. Power switch to there. And so, as we can see, we got this power switch. I said power switch to here, power cable to here. And then we have a power switch here to cut off this little line, which means that these 3 power producers can be directly funneled into our domes and whatnot. So that's like the major thing, is your domes, you want them to be a closed system, right? You don't want any cables and pipes. You don't want cables or pipes connected to them that are like dangerous, if that makes sense. Like you can just imagine, like, let's just say that we had like a pipe, just for an example. Let's say we had a pipe going like this, right? And it was going to do something. This pipe would be dangerous until we set a pipe valve here, right? Because then we can turn this pipe valve off. So that's very, very important. And so every single place that we can, we want all of the cables and all of the pipes to be readily able to be turned off, if that makes sense. So right now we can do this. Let's go ahead and pause this for now. Right, so by setting up this pipe valve here, that means that this whole entire pipe can be turned off. And then on top of that, we're also going to want to do another pipe valve here. Reason being is that, let's say this pipe breaks, or there's a leak or something, then we can isolate this moisture evaporator and ensure the water is still going into our population. Pretty important. Fuel refinery. Cool. We're probably going to want to set up this water extractor, so let's go ahead and do that. I don't know where the pipes go in and out. Oh, it shows us. Cool. And I think something like that will be good enough. We have this one turned on. That's good. Everything's looking pretty good. They almost have the landing pad done. But I just know for a fact that this episode's a little over an hour. We got a lot done though. Like a lot of planning. We got our first dome set up. The construction. Oh, nice. So because we completed this milestone, it gave us 500 free research points, which lets us instantly get low-G high-rise. Advanced Martian engines. We should do this as well. We'll give it a little bit of time though. Maybe do a little bit more planning with that soon enough. But we have access to low-G high-rises, so that means that we can do the apartments. So what I'm thinking is we'll do an apartment here, an apartment here, and then one here, right? And so that'll be a bunch of apartments, so a lot of living space here, and then we'll need to set up the hanging gardens right here in the center. Do we have access to... No capacity to host a spire, but there is capacity in the basic dome, right? So by building all of our housing in the center dome and then hanging gardens in the center dome, we're going to have a lot of space and like a lot of living space, and the living space is going to have a lot of, or like a very high comfort, so it'll be really, really nice. And then everything's just really close knit. Everything's like really, really nice. This is by far one of the most ideal starts that I've had in a while. Pretty much ever. I haven't really, yeah, like we didn't need to branch too far away. There wasn't too much like crazy planning that we needed to do, and we didn't need to set up like little daisy chains. These guys are still hanging about over there. Let's send this one here, and then let's get you and do a supply run from here, grab all the metals and bring them here. Cool. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to follow along with the rest of the series or any of the other series that I got going on the channel, be sure to check them out. And if you like what you see, then be sure to subscribe. Peace.